Nicole Murphy and Lori Harvey find themselves in some Real Housewives tea. What in the Nelly Furtado man-eater is going on here? Little Nas X breaks history. And we have YouTube's most sought-after sexologist, Miss Shan Boody, in the building. Stay tuned.
Presented by AfterBuzz TV and live from Los Angeles, California, it's AfterBuzz Tonight with Jesse Janity. AfterBuzz TV's first late-night talk show with a millennial mindset. From trending topics to interviews with your favorite influencers, celebrities, and performers, we've got it all. So grab your favorite late-night snack and join the conversation. And now your host, Jesse Janity.
Yo, what up, AfterBuzz? It's your boy DJ Jesse J, a.k.a. Jesse Janity, in studio. And welcome to AfterBuzz Tonight. I'm joined in studio by one of my faves in the world. We got Miss Jamie Gray in the building.
What's up, everybody? And hello, Jesse.
I'm loving that talk.
Thank you. You look so swaggy, though. Let's give it up for our host, like Jesse. Come on.
I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I wore
ready.
This twice this week, and that's fine. But when I wore it the second time, now I'm getting compliments. Appreciate it.
Did you wash it, though?
The first was a warm-up. Absolutely not. What? Twice in the washer? Not going to kill it.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't do nothing crazy. All right? I've been busy. You know what I'm saying?
It's been a lot.
Okay.
Life has been a lot.
Life is a lot. I'm just like corporate.
No, really.
What
Get
are we?
Your foot
3,
off my
4
neck.
weeks? How many shows have we done? Because I'm tired. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also working on this new project. It's called Jesse's House, and I've talked about this for years and years and years. Also, I didn't give you the introduction. I also want to give an introduction out to Ashley Gray in the chat room, trying my patience.
Ooh, what'd she do?
All of it.
Oh,
Whatever
all of
it is.
it.
That's what she's doing. She's trying my patience right now. Acting like we got a contest
Ashley.
going on. All right.
Shout out to the Aries.
Shout out to the Aries in the building. We got Shan Boody in the building. She an Aries as well.
Yes.
Okay, but no, I've been working on my new show, Jesse's House. So I know a few years back, if you guys remember, I dropped a little teaser for it. Had to pull back. You know what I mean? As we said, life happens.
Yeah.
But did a little rework, a little rejudge. Gonna have some promos popping out by my birthday. You know what I mean? I'm not a big birthday person. I'm not like a big what are we gonna? I don't have enough money to go celebrate my birthday like the way I want to. Like otherwise, It's like I'm going to a restaurant. I'm gonna do something cute, maybe
In due
take
time.
the day off from work.
We'll get there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? A few more episodes of these, huh? All right. All right. Also, this Friday, I'm really excited because I'm super excited because I don't know if you guys know, but there is a big concert that's about to happen. I don't know if you guys have heard of this concert. This website called The Singer's Room.
Oh, no, actually.
Okay. It's a music blog if you just appreciate people who actually sing.
But
you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get mixed up in, the R&B, the rap, and the pop. You know what I mean? You get a little mix of everything in there. It's all music and singing. Like, if you don't have vocals, you're not going to be featured.
You're cut.
Okay. Well, so they're doing they're working together with Pidgey Productions. They're going to do a showcase with Gabe Pidgey, R&B Kenny, and Ray Luis.
Dope.
You know who that is?
Have no clue.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. She's just an amazing singer, and she's going to be coming onto the show, and I'm very excited for it. So it's going to be in Long Beach. So if you're in the LA area, go check out Gabe Pidgey, and that's Pige's page. You guys can get tickets through that.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. But really importantly, what we need to talk about is Destiny's Child just celebrated.
Come on.
Well, really only Kelly Rowland is, because she's the only one who really said anything on Instagram. But it's the 20th anniversary of The Writings on the Wall. Okay?
The Writings on the Wall.
I don't know about you guys, but hi, my commandments.
I love that
Blasphemous.
album.
I said it.
Wait. What's your favorite track on this album? Classic. There's some, or I'll give you. You can choose a couple.
I mean,
it's hard.
I mean, it really is hard. It's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing mighty fine.
That's how I sing. It's been a long time.
At first we started off real cool.
Taking me places I ain't. See, he always messes me up with the note. Get the note right.
First one. The day you pissed me off. Who she call? She called Mike.
Tyrone? Okay.
No,
Oh, okay.
See? Erica Badu.
See, I don't think I like that track as much.
All right, what about bugging what? You bugging what? You bugging who?
You bugging me, don't you need? It ain't cool. It's not hot.
I know you see me watching you.
And I see you watching me. But boy, you're This is why I do the ad-libs.
Oh, okay.
I promise, though, it's my album.
Now that she's gone, you want to come back?
See, he's trying to do me up one. What's another one? Throw me another one. Jumpin'. Ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of
ballers and their pockets full of
grown.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, baby, where'd you go?
This This is not the day. Give me another one. These were not. These are.
Come on, ready? Let's do it.
Okay. That was
Thou
there.
shalt say my name.
There we go.
Boop.
Follow some SoundCloud.
Okay, you know what I mean?
We are real Destiny's
Writing's on the
Child
wall.
fans. Yeah. We're
Hit
fans.
it there. All right, but let's talk about it. So let's get into some topics.
Okay.
Speaking of music, people actually can carry a tune. Okay. Well, or maybe not. You know, the ever famous Woodstock.
Yes.
You know, never been, never heard. Well, you know, our parents were really into it and all that.
Maybe, yeah.
It's their 50th anniversary.
Crazy.
They got Miley Cyrus headlining, Chance the Rapper. Now, I don't know if you remember, but back in April, there was a little rumor that it was going to be canceled.
Yeah.
But now they say they're looking for a new venue. This sounds like Fire Festival.
Yeah. Like, guys, get it together. You're running out of time. You know? I hate unprofessionalism, and Firefest was definitely a flop, so let's not let that happen. Do I think it'll happen with this? Not at all, because they've been known to have a great festival. It's been going on for 50 years.
I mean, it's Woodstock.
It
Like,
just-
if y'all can't find investors to make this, like, work in America, it's not like we're a Fire Festival in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they play themselves if that can happen. The 50th anniversary, you got to make it big, but it's like, come on.
Well, so anyways, Jay-Z was supposed to be a part of this. He pulled out because he's like, this looks like a train wreck. Not only that, but Jay-Z really don't even got to do it because he has his own Made in America tour concert, which will be a 2-day concert.
Yes, it's lit.
September 1st weekend. You know what I mean? Bringing the Virgo season all aboard. Choo choo. I'm excited for it because honestly, his headliners are bigger. He got Cardi B and Travis Scott.
But okay, here's my thing. Because of just the generation and how they are now, Jay-Z is hot. He always has been. But I feel like a lot of them might be more hyped for Travis Scott and Cardi versus Jay-Z. Honestly, I would be hyped for Jay-Z. But like...
Wait, what? Okay, yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
That's how the generation
But what
is.
I love about Jay-Z and Beyonce is like they've created this concert where
Yeah.
it doesn't have to rely on Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Right.
It's like, we're going to sit out this year and Travis, we're going to let the kids play.
I'll do
you
a
know?
song or two.
We'll let Travis come out. Yeah, like
Sure.
if Beyonce, if you want to like sing something from The Lion King, come on down, girl. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it could be something like that. But for the most part, I'm just kind of like, I think Jay-Z is like, this is where the kids are paying attention. This is where they're listening. Why do I need to be a part of Woodstock? Like, that's old. It's like,
Right, old news. Out with the old, in with the
have
new.
fun, Miley. Although Chance the Rapper, love the new album.
Yes.
Very cute. Poppin',
Handsome,
okay?
a
He's so
bop.
fine. He's so fine. Ashley Gray, and they're talking about jump in the chat room, talking about Jump was her jam. Okay, Miley
Facts.
Cyrus, exhausting. She can have several seats. She
Sure do.
can. And you're tired of these whack-ass music festivals.
Ditto. Yeah. We're with you. We feel you.
I mean, honestly, like, if you're not going to give me Homecoming...
No, really. What's going to top that?
Like, Ariana, you performed your exact concert.
And I
The
literally
year
said...
after Beyonce just showed out.
Like, and you get the same amount as Queen Bee? Like, granted, Ariana's talented, but when she was performing, I was like, are you okay?
White privilege.
Yeah. You know.
All right, moving on from that. Chris Brown, Drake, you know what I mean? They have always been infamous for working with each other, whatnot. Deuces Remix, Nicki Minaj only, like, just, they got hit. So they came out with No Guidance off Chris's new album, Indigo, check it out.
Yes.
Like 37 songs or whatnot. And they dropped the video for No Guidance, which was 9 minutes. I wasn't ready. And, I mean, it was simple. It was cute. It was whatever. You know, Chris Brown was out here with his hair. Drake bringing his acting skills, being a clown. Did
Not
you
with
see
his
it?
hair. I loved it. Did you like it?
I thought it was really cute. I'll never watch it again.
Really?
Like,
I
for
okay.
9 minutes of my life. No, it was a great... Loved
I would
it.
skim through it.
No, I
you
feel
know?
like now we need to create, like, I hope he had a backup video, so, like, I showed you that one, and you can go to that one, but now here's the real one.
Yeah.
3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Well, I mean, they probably will, but like, I liked it. I love the creativeness of it. I like seeing them together again because remember back in 2014, the ESPYs, they did do a skit together. That was funny, Chris Brown and Drake,
Yep.
because it was after the whole Rihanna love triangle thing going on, and they made it work. So I'm glad to see them together again.
Yeah, I'm here for it. It was cute. I loved it. And that's really that. All right. Shout
Yeah.
out to Janine Doyen in the chat room building.
Hey, girl!
And Koe. I'm assuming that's your name. But
We
and
love all of you.
Ashley said Drake looked well fed in this. Drake looked fine.
He,
I'm fine. Like, this is the way I want Drake to remain it.
Well, maybe like 10 pounds less.
10 pounds?
This is my preference.
And the anorexia is going on.
No, this would be some lean muscle that he would have because he's just a little husky. And
Not
that's okay.
lean muscle, a little Herbalife.
Love
Just
him.
drink an Herbalife shake in the morning.
I mean, because nobody was loving Drake back in the early OVO days. I was, but okay. Now everybody loves Drake. Okay.
From
anyway.
the day Drake came out.
I guess.
Drake missed a few years. I'd say like 2015, 16?
For when?
I don't know. He went through a period, and it was like a little Rob Kardashian almost.
Oh yeah.
But he pulled it together
he sure
real
did.
quick.
He did.
Real quick. Oh, what's going on in your life, Drake? Come on the show and talk about it. All right,
Aubrey.
All right, girl. What's going on Twitter?
Oh my gosh, so much is going on Twitter, but we got some good news. We got a little bit of UNITY.
Hey.
So female rappers are finally coming together, and who is it? None other than Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion.
Hey.
So we love seeing just females together, but this was really dope because they got on IG Live together, and I, of course, caught wind of this via social media. I was not looking at any of them live while it was happening, but it literally drove friends crazy just to see them talking. Meg was giving major props to Nicki, saying she loved her songs. Although, I don't know if you saw the video. Okay, did you think that the conversation was a little awkward at times too?
Yeah, it felt forced. It felt like... Okay, here's my reality of how I really felt about it. I loved it. I really appreciate it. I want it to happen. I want Nicki and Meg on the same song. I want this for my life, for your lives at home. I want it for our lives. Nicki needs to pull it together. Cardi B just sat with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Nicole.
We're about to call her Nickelodeon.
I was going to call her Nicolette. Onika Mirage. Girl, what? Cardi's out here sitting with presidents, and you out here wearing Meg Thee Stallion's hair. Because did you notice in the Instagram Live, they switched hair? Literally, if you look at their icons, Meg's is red and Nicki's is black. There's Megatron and then whatever, Hot Stallion or whatever. And they flipped it in the live. I felt like this was contrived. I felt like it was... They made it seem like, the internet got them to be on lives together, but I feel like it was PR that drove that little buzz.
Yeah.
But I don't care because I love it and I'm here for it and I want this to happen, and I feel like I hope that Nicki teaming up with the female rapper will...
hopefully do a little something.
Do something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, fans were here for it. I did think it seemed a little forced. For instance, when Nicki was rapping and they were rapping at the same time, Megan didn't know all the words, but that's your song? Okay. You should have just chose Monster and called it a day. Not whatever other song she was singing, because I didn't know it. But the tweet
picked one.
Yeah, pick one. Well, pick a good one.
Keep it real cute,
Go
back.
She said,
itty bitty pig. You might as well go back to that.
Right. She's been retweeting this whole situation too, though, which is a little sketchy. It's like, okay, we already saw you on live. Why are you retweeting everything? But
if you were Meg Thee Stallion and you grew up and you're obsessed with Nicki Minaj, and all of a sudden now Nicki Minaj is reaching out to you, bitch.
Yeah.
Retweet.
That's a good point.
Lil Nas X would be.
Yeah, I'm still giving it the side eye. But speaking of Lil Nas X, okay, so we all know
Baby
that he
daddy.
is, I guess, an ex-Nicki Minaj stan. Okay, we did not forget. Okay, but he's been trolling Twitter, but he's also making history again. So the first thing is, I think he might be a little overwhelmed. Okay, so one of his tweets, I know, just from the looks of his tweet. Okay, he says, "Wow, man, last year I was sleeping on my sister's floor, had no money, struggling to get plays on my music, suffering from daily headaches. Now I'm gay." So I literally busted out laughing when I saw this. He's trolling, but it's this is what he does best. Someone tell him to log off of Twitter, take a break. But I just think it's really interesting how, he's gotten so far. 2019 has just been a great year for him. And he's already making big moves because he now has the longest running record in Hot 100 history ever. That's incredible.
First of all, for hip hop, for black people, for black men, for gay black men, bro.
Yeah. Kudos. I mean,
you just broke records. Not only are you selling, but like you're breaking like records.
Do you think he should get his name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, or is it too soon? Because, I mean, that is a huge record.
At this point, like, you are history.
You like him more than I do, I guess, right? He seems like such a machine-operated thing.
Sorry.
And maybe it's
so
working.
So doesn't Beyonce, but she's still out here slaying everyone.
Well, maybe I just need some more time.
Come on, Ashley, what do you have to say about that?
I guess. But yeah, that is our star tweets, and you know what? I'm proud of all of them.
We're scared.
Ooh, what happened?
Let's get into the chat room real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on, because I was agreeing with you, Ashley, where you said Nicki and Meg were a snooze fest, and Nicki only did that for clout. True. And she wouldn't be calling Meg if she didn't need the views. True. But then, and then you talk about Mighty Mouse, talking about Jermaine Dupri, says that female rappers should just call what they do strap. I low-key see that and kind of agree with that. Anyways, but Ashley, you sitting over here talking about that song is not history. But it is.
Not for me. Actually, I agree with you.
No. Like, you don't think it is that? But like, literally, like, number-wise, like, in history, like, it is.
Do we really think it's going to stick in history?
But it doesn't matter because, like, compared to, like, any other song that comes out any other artist, like, who's going to have to compete like that? Like, Mariah Carey been held in that. And, like, now, like, you have to compete with that.
I'm so pissed that this song has been even lasting this long. So we can agree to disagree, and that's that on that. I can't. I just can't with the song. And can't nobody tell me nothing. There we go.
Nobody tell me nothing. All right,
well, we got it that time.
Someone about to tell us something because, ladies and gentlemen, we about to have the one, the only Miss Shan Boody in the building.
Yeah.
She did a little White Room interview for us real quick. You know what I mean? We had to ask her a few questions before she comes in live, so stay tuned.
I'm Shan Boody with AfterBuzz Tonite, and I'm about to answer some questions. Answering these questions quickly. Who gave you your most memorable orgasm? My husband, Jared Brady, and we had sex in a car once, and it was the first time that he tossed my salad. It was very memorable. What is your favorite song off Destiny's Child, Writings Off the Wall? It is Illusion. I don't even know if that's the right one, but Days in My Mind is Confusion. Thoughts of You Bring Illusions. That's the one. If you could give Donald Trump intimacy advice, what would it be? I would say that healthy relationships are built off of self-insight, emotional regulation, and mutuality. And you are definitely missing 2 or 3 of those things, mama. Where was the worst place you've had sex? I'm going to say, honestly, a beach. Sand gets in places that you don't want sand. Sand is not uncomfortable for gliding and sliding. I think in movies it's great, but in practicality, nah. Why do most men ghost? Men ghost women because they're not compatible with the person, and we live in a society that doesn't talk about our feelings and feels uncomfortable with accountability. But mostly you get ghosted because they just don't see something in you, and that's okay. But maybe work on it, but it's still okay. Maybe not. Maybe goodbye to him. Whatever. My name is Shan Boody. This is AfterBuzz Tonite, and those were some great steamy questions.
Y'all, she is the internet's most sought after sexologist. She is a dating expert, writer, best-selling author with her book Laid, and she just dropped The Game of Desire. Ladies and gentlemen, Shan Boody in the building.
I honestly feel so intimidated by your wacky voices.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, I feel like I gotta do the same thing too. I gotta match you.
It's really weird, but like, someone asked me one time, they're like, why do you do that? And I was like, honestly, I just see life as a cartoon.
You should be like, because this is so much fun. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just this voice, and then sometimes I just get really excited and we talk a whole different pitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Look at your hands. You went right into jazz mode. Yeah.
Just jazzy. Thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you very much.
I love your energy. Like, you're just, like, first of all, watching you online, and then, like, to have you in person, it's like, oh my God, she's, like, really right here. I can touch her.
Go ahead. That's a moment in consent, everybody. That's a lesson in consent, kids.
That's a what?
You're welcome.
2 pointy arrows connection.
Yes, okay. It is. Yes, you asked. I delivered. That was a great exchange.
Hey, thank you so much for coming in, for real, because I love honesty, and what I really want to do tonight is I need some therapy in my life.
Okay, so this is free work.
Free work.
Yes. Sign up, motherfucker.
The only reason I do stand-up comedy is just so I can get into the club. So you're an Aries.
Yes.
Are you into horoscopes?
I am not into horoscopes at all.
Why?
I think that I believe in myself.
Love it.
And I mean that I believe that I am responsible for my outcome. by my outputs. And so this notion that something as innocuous as when I was born or what planets were doing at a certain time dictates my decision making or has control over my fate. One, I don't like that. And two, I've seen people use astrology as a way to make excuses for behaviors they really should take accountability for. But that's the thing. I say this as somebody who has never done the dive. Whenever I say this, someone's like, well, you don't know what your rising moon is or your Libra in Taurus is. I'm like, I don't. So I know, and my partner's here and he's into astrology and he's like, there's this many people who believe in it for a reason. There's fact in it. And my dad is a paramedic, and every time there was a full moon, he said that people would just go a little crazy. I just heard the
same exact thing from a friend.
So yes, there's some truth in the planets having an impact on us. I just don't think to the extent that people believe.
Okay.
Think is a key word there. I don't know.
We might have to pull you up in a little bit. We're going to have a little
Are you one of those people who's like a rising moon in Sagittarius?
I actually just found out that actually is my... That's so crazy. I literally just found out this girl at work, because now I'm being corporate. This girl at work, she just told me, she was like, what are you? She asked me like what time and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's what I am.
Okay, yeah, that means nothing to me. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah,
I really don't either. I just know
you do great voices.
Me and Beyonce are like in the same day.
Oh, okay, good for you.
So something from that, I'm hoping
nice
it rubs off or whatnot. All right, so before we get into anything, I want to talk a little bit, do a little hot topic tease with you, right? So right now in the papers, we're talking about Nicole Murphy. Are you aware of her tea right now?
I heard a snippet because I was on E! A couple days ago and they were talking about it while I was waiting to get interviewed. So I heard a snippet. Is it that her man is making out with someone else?
Oh, no. It's even juicier.
Okay.
All right. So basically she's friends with actress Layla Roshan, and she is married to Antoine Fuqua, who is a director, and they've been married for 20 years, 2 kids together, 20 years. All of a sudden, Nicole is caught making out with him.
Okay, she's a maker-outer.
Oh, no, it was just a friendly kiss, like family friends, like I was just saying hi. Then it turned into, she apologizes, doesn't condone this kind of behavior. But Lisa Ray was caught on TMZ not agreeing with that because she was like, well, it's funny she says she don't condone that behavior because she did that with my ex-husband how many years back?
Oh, ho. And the plot thickens.
But Nicole's saying that she was told by Antoine that they were separated, which is not true. Mm-hmm. And that's her, like, she doesn't want to apologize for the whole story, but she's going to apologize that, it was intended that way. And I love you guys in the booth, but I think your mic's on. And so I want to just, you know what I mean? Everyone's like bashing Nicole Murphy, but I got you here. So 2 people, they're married for 20 years. Obviously there's some sort of intimate relationship there where they understand, why they signed up for this. Mm-hmm. Where could you see the innocence in him stepping out with someone who is close to connected to their family?
Yeah, I mean, cheating essentially is when 2 people create rules. Like if we created a game right now or some type of commitment to each other, we're going to create the rules and the structure. And so anything outside of those rules and structure is cheating. Mm-hmm. And that's individual depending on who's involved in this particular game or in this relationship. And so maybe in their relationship, it's permissible to go on vacations. And after 20 years, I don't necessarily know if they had the same hard and fast monogamous rules. I'm sure, especially being in the public eye, a lot of their rules, if they do have monogamish tendencies, center around not getting caught because you don't want the embarrassment that they're now going through as a couple. So I would assume that this is probably a no for them, but we don't know.
But I love that because what that will segue into right now is your relationship.
Yes.
You're very open about open relationships.
You just gave us a boot.
A boot. I know. I don't know. I'm really not from Canada at all. I've been there one time in my life.
Very influential.
So, yes, it just really stuck with me. But no, so you've been very open about being in an open relationship. And I love it because I love your conversations about sexuality because it almost is just like a brush off your shoulder. Like, I mean, we just reading what's on the paper here. Like,
right.
Why are we making a big thing of it? And it's so funny because I grew up in a world where it was a big thing, religion, all that. For you, when did was that ever a thing for you? And when did you kind of own your your confidence with your sexuality?
Oh, it took a long ass time, right? I've been in the sex education space for 13 years, and even in those 13 years, I still yo-yoed. I went back and forth between wanting to really claim my stake in this area, because exactly what you just said. We're taught to believe that it's shameful and that it's uncomfortable and that it's hard for your parents to bring up what you're doing when they're at a dinner party with somebody. It's hard for your partners to really engage what you're doing because it is so out there. And I absolutely applaud people who establish like a prude title for themselves, because I'm like, that's a sexual standpoint, and I completely understand why you would choose that. And so I don't look at it like everyone should be sex positive and fluid and open and everyone. I think of it like, you know what? I started really finding grace with sexuality when I started to look at it like every single person is here. More than likely, 99.9% of people are on this planet because two people had sex. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about something that, like, you know, weekend vacation in, like, the Poconos that only some people have experienced. Every single person is here because of this act. We are all created. We are all driven by. We all have thoughts about. And so it's what links us together. It's just like food links us together. And food is the great bonder. So we come together and we join ideas, we join families over food. And so sexuality in the same way is like a massive part of who we are. And so for us to separate that and make it this like sort of secret, taboo, awkward place when it's such an intrinsic part of us is very harmful for a lot of people.
Because how can we truly understand it if we choose not to speak about it, right?
100%.
We're the same age. And, you know, I just said to someone yesterday.
85, keeping it alive?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying, so my birthday is September if y'all was listening and rewinding. Okay. Sure.
He's a rising Sagittarius moon.
Yes.
Get
Taurus,
it together.
whatever the falling one is. No, but so, look, took me off of where I was going with it. But when it comes to the YouTube world, right,
yes,
and social media, we got to experience life. This is what I was just saying. I just talked to someone. I said, I really appreciated that I got to experience life before social media. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen social media grow, and you've been a part of the YouTube community and, you know, the social world, how have you seen the structure of YouTube and being a YouTube star change? Let's just start with that first. How have you seen that kind of change as far as, you know, when you first started to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a job now, right? Like, it truly is its own set of careers. And the market, I think once it became a job, it started becoming a job in 2012, around that time, where it's like, wow, people are...
Did you realize that? You realized that personally, or was it...
Well, I actually was on the internet mad early. So I was on YouTube like maybe 2008, and I had a YouTube channel with called Those Girls Are Wild with Andrea Lewis, who was on Degrassi. And our channel was pretty decent, but we were making nothing. Like, there was no nothing to be made. There was no brand deals. There was no appearances. There was no money to be had. And so I actually quit in 2011. And then 2012, a friend of mine named Maya, Shameless Maya, she got into YouTube, and then I watched her make a career out of it. And I was like, oh, I got off this ride a little bit too early, you know what I mean? And then I watched all these people create this massive brand around themselves. And so I came crawling back in 2015 with much more appreciation and respect. And I think I would never leave YouTube for that reason. But now, I mean, you can make a living off of TikTok. It's really, truly, the whole field is blown open.
And so with that, when you look at, you know, different YouTubes, a lot of clickbait, things like that, like, how do you specifically make sure that your content is authentic and not stepping into that world of the clickbait and, you know?
Well, I think like what you guys even do here is so incredible at AfterBuzz. Like, niche is peace. Once you have a niche, you can justify whatever you're going to do. So I'm not making videos about like how to build a microphone if that's what's popular, because it just won't apply to my channel. But I can do, if microphones are popular right now in this fictitious world, I can do like practice giving a blowjob to a microphone. Like, I can always find a way to create my...
How would that start?
Yeah, well, but this one is kind of difficult. There's a lot going on, right?
Sometimes that happens, though.
Yes, sometimes. I've never seen this particular sometime happen, but I leave space for all unexpected things. But nonetheless, I think like, yeah, because I have a niche, I can always justify why I'm talking about a certain topic. And just like you guys have a niche here, and so it's not clickbaity if you're talking about what happened in media, because that's what the heck you do.
Now with YouTube and social media, mostly with Instagram, we talk about this a lot, and sexuality and how over-sexualized our community has become. Do you feel, personally, I kind of look at that and I say, it's because we aren't having these conversations. It's because we're allowing certain things to happen and instead we shun. What is your take on like the shift of sexuality and where we are right now with the internet?
I don't know if the shift, like, I think people have this alarmist attitude about sex. Like, the kids today are having sex younger. They're doing crazy things. And it's like, we're all pretty much doing the same 7 activities. And biologically, we develop along the same timeline. Just like most people walk at around the same age, they talk at around the same age. And most people's sexual hormones and their coccyx fuses at around the 16, 17-year-old mark. And so the majority of people are still having their first urges for sexuality around that time to partner with somebody else. I mean, a lot of us are humping since age 5, but that's just in your privacy of your bedroom. I just mean to say that I think we have this idea that people exposure equals activity. And it doesn't necessarily work out that way because people may not be prepared for it. And if they do, maybe it's something that they want to continue with because the hormones aren't there to reinforce that behavior. But by and large, I think that the youth are doing better. They're so smart. Like when I first got into sex education, like the question for women of like, how does one orgasm? Like, what is an orgasm? That was every single day. And I feel like now we live in a time with so much clitoris literacy, and people really know so much more about female sexual pleasure. They know so much more about kinks and fetishes and gender identification. They're so smart, and there's so many tools, and they're using them properly. So I'm optimistic about the youth. Are you not?
No, I'm fine with them.
Are you happy with the youth?
I'm happy where they are. I'm excited to see where we're going to actually be in 15 years from now, because I think more so than the youth, I think, but like I think there's an older generation that I'm so horrible. Like,
are you waiting for them to die?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I'm excited. Like, I'm just gonna say it. I don't mean it like that, but it's just how I'm saying it. Like, I'm kind of like just interested to see what life is gonna be like when a certain generation is just gone and those theories and ideas aren't really like embedded in the system, because I feel like with technology, it washed that allowance out.
Yes.
You no longer can be embedded in my system because I have access to anything I want to have access to, and I can teach myself. I can learn.
Yes.
You know?
100%. I was just having this conversation. Someone was like, what do you think about sex education in schools? I'm like, it's the longest running joke. Your grandma can make this joke, your great grandma, you can make this joke, and your niece or nephew can make this joke. Like, it's a consistent through line of people being like, it's trash. There was nothing that I learned. They said the craziest, corniest, most non-applicable stuff. There was no interesting conversations that were engaged in around sex education in school. So it's just a bad joke at this point.
It's like very like a taboo. Like when I think of sex education in my school growing up, like, and obviously it was a long time ago, but it was very vague. It was like, we didn't even get the banana and the condom. Apparently that's what the kids did after me. But I look at it today, and so actually I was on Instagram and I was scrolling through my stories, and this girl posted this book that's about to be released in the schools out here in California, and it was a sex education chapter, and it broke all the sub-chapters, and one of them was like gore play, blood play.
Oh, wow.
All these things. And I was just like, and she was going off in her stories like, how dare this state does this, da 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 da. And I was talking to someone, actually, she's in our chat room, Ashley Gray, who is was a teacher at the time, and she said, you know, I hear what these kids are talking about. And like maybe like some of that was a little, you know, forward, but the kids have access to these tablets, these computers, you know, and, you know, why let them hear that through that without having the conversation in a safe environment? How young would you say is an appropriate time to kind of start that conversation?
4.
Really?
3. When you can start having English, right? It's just the same way you're explaining to a child, this is your arm, this is your leg, this is your genitals, this is your vagina or your penis, whatever word you want to use to describe them. I really like have issue with like, when do you start the talk? I'm like, it's a conversation. It's a continuous conversation that has to happen. It should be age appropriate as you start to see them develop and their interests in their sexual side start to develop. You start answering questions. You also make yourself someone that they can come and talk to. Because if you've waited till 16 to bring it up with them, that muscle memory is not there to even come to you, to have these discussions, to talk about the vulnerabilities. And so the parents that I know who do it really well have been doing it the entire time. That doesn't say you can't start today. But you have to start, like, don't wait. If you're waiting to have the sex talk, if you're waiting for that, you may have already missed the boat, but go ahead, just wave it down and get on that boat really quickly.
Hey, I want to. Some people in the chat room are loving that you're here. Shout out to Read, Love, Listen. I want to let's get into it. You know what I mean? If you have a question, let's go. She said, I think she's open about communication, but I think she made a vague video. But I think closed but open in regards to communication. I want you to expand on that because
I think she's talking about my relationship style.
Okay, so because you just dropped her one, relationship shouldn't be hard.
Yes, right? It should not be hard.
Can we let's talk about it? Communication in a relationship.
Yes. What do I say? I always say that when people say communication is key in relationships, right? It's kind of like saying,
But how honest are you? You know, how honest are you? I love the last video you just released. The cartoons too is just literally you're perfect. Like you are gonna be Jesse, an amazing human being in this world.
Climb up into my womb right now.
Seriously, like we need a podcast. We need literally to be on you're like the new Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Hey, do you want to touch again? Okay. Thank you.
I see it. Like, and then even to meet you in person, like, yes.
Yes. Okay.
But so with communication, how much is too much? How do I pull back? You know, in this last video I just saw you do, you really understood your subject and you found all of her strengths and she just needs to reorganize and understand her tool belt.
Yes.
How do you develop that tool belt? How would you recommend somebody at home to say, you know what, I need to work on communication. What's my first step? What tool do I reach for first?
Yeah, I think quizzes are a great tool for communication, especially when it comes to relationships. Because again, going back to the fact that we don't get this language as a general consensus in school. The school system is so important because it's great if one person has a mom who's hella cool, who teaches them all the information, makes them very emotionally intelligent, and they're very sex positive. But you still have 29 other people in your classroom who are not operating the same system as you. So I like quizzes because it provides people with language, because it's one thing for people to say talk in relationships. It's a second layer to say, well, what do we talk about? How do I communicate these really complex feelings that I have that I've actually never been given a word for? I don't actually understand why I get so jealous or why I get so worked up. What's the word to describe that and how can I affirm that to my partner? So love languages. Do you know yours?
I don't.
Oh, come on, Jesse.
I know. I did it one time at like Barnes & Nobles with my homegirl Ebony, and like I remember she wrote the whole list that was like so long.
I think that's so important because that's like our first time having almost like a universal description for how we describe or even talk about love. Because like we need language to communicate. We need language that both you know and I know. So I think love languages is a really great start.
What is yours?
Mine is physical touch, which is obvious. I think
mine would be, I'm pretty sure mine was physical.
Yeah.
I'm weirded out by it because of my past and I have an understanding of it. But I think that's where, because of that, that is what it is. That's where my strength in it is.
I always try and think about love languages like when you're distressed for whatever reason, if you're going through something where you don't feel like you're kind of out of water, love is what grounds you. So like, what is that communication method? Is it a gift? Is it an act of service? Is it quality time? Is it touch? Like, what's that thing that grounds you and like puts you and roots you in love?
Yeah, it would be, quality time or touch.
Okay. Yeah, drop the mic.
Right,
sit back.
Done with that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so with communication today, though, a lot of kids, we're so used to texting. We're so used to, like, if I was to text you, the sound of my voice to you and my message to you is going to be different than when I'm in person.
Yes.
You know? How do you mesh all of that together?
There's pros to texting. I think for a lot of people, it's very difficult for them to manage their emotions, especially around touchy subjects. And texting, there's no one cutting each other off. Texting is an opportunity to express all of your feelings in one clear, concise way. And it's an opportunity for you to think before you say something. So for a lot of people, texting might be the better option when it comes to conflict resolution. Obviously, if you can do in person, but not everybody's a pro. Not everybody, that's not their method of choice. Not everyone is securely attached. And so I don't look down on somebody who would prefer to communicate via texting if they feel like that's where they can be their absolute best, most clearest self. But yes, you do leave some you do leave some room for error. But there's also room for error when it comes to person, because sometimes when I'm texting you an email and I'm like, but it comes across really nice. So if you were in my face and you saw me, you would see those subtle facial cues that say that
The macros.
right, little macros. Yes. So I think that they both have their pros and cons. It's just position yourself to be as clear as possible. Communication is, yes, about what you say, but mostly about what you want to accomplish. And so if you want to accomplish, I want this person to understand what they did was not cool. Sometimes when you're in person, your emotions and everything else distracts from what your communication method or your actual message is.
It's true, and sometimes just writing it down, it gets it out your mind, get it out your system.
Yes, and no one can be like, like cutting you off before you finish your thought, and you're getting worked up. Like, I didn't get to finish what I'm saying. You're not listening to me talk. Like, none of that happens with texting. You can't cut my text off. I'm in total control here.
Okay, and don't leave your read receipts on.
Yeah.
Jamie, now I know you've been following Shan for a minute.
Yes.
You got a few questions for her.
I do. Okay, so
Jamie, you're an undercover fan because you did not reveal this to me.
Well, okay, because I had to like keep it cool and chill. You know what I'm saying?
She's an undercover.
And like we're both Aries, but I know you're not like all into that. But you're such an Aries, whether you want to admit it or not. Okay, so one of my questions for you is I know that you are. I'm going to say that you're recently married, even though it was last year. You're still kind of a newlywed because it's not quite a year yet. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know that you were in an open relationship, and maybe. You know, I know that you recently posted how relationships should not be hard.
Yes.
I always hear that marriages are hard and that, you know, when you two become one, things change. How has marriage changed your insight on relationships and just really everything? Has it affected you or made you change anything?
You know what's so great is like Jared's in my peripheral vision right now, so I just feel like I'm speaking about him and not talking with him. It literally has changed nothing for us.
Wow.
But in a wonderful way. You know what I mean? Like I said yes to marriage because I'm like, this is amazing. What we share is amazing. What we've built is amazing. More of this.
Right.
And so if he I guess it would have been cool if we would have gotten married. And he's like, just so you know, I have 10 more inches on my dick or whatever secret thing he would have been keeping from me.
Surprise!
Yeah, you know, like, I actually can cook. I wasn't going to show you before, but now that we're married, right? I mean, Jared's, he's a good cook, okay? He does a great lasagna. But I mean, like, there wasn't like I wasn't holding back anything from our partnership. We already lived together at the time. We had already met each other's family. We actually opened a business together. So there wasn't, marriage is an extension of what we already shared and a celebration of what we already had. It wasn't an opportunity to make something greater. And I don't think either one of us looked at it that way. So for me, it was positive. And to that question of it being open or not open, we didn't change our relationship structure because of marriage. We chose the title of marriage to celebrate how good our relationship structure had worked for us.
That's awesome.
Structure.
Because
that's all it is at the end of the day. It's clear communication, making sure each person understands. And when both of you guys can take that wall down and really be able to say those things that sometimes you get choked.
I'm going to challenge you guys to do my commitment quiz. Okay,
right.
It's a way to determine what your ideal relationship structure is. So if you go to the gameofdesire.com/commitment, you can do a quiz. There's 9 different results you can possibly get. I think it's a really great starting point for relationship conversations because I think we're now starting to look at it like love is not one size fits all. I think for a long ass time Disney had us feeling like if you ain't got purple hair and your man isn't 6 foot tall and can sing, it's not going to work for you. But now I think we're starting to realize that polyamory is a wonderful choice, and LGBTQT plus have incredible relationships and they know themselves and they love and they live and they're happy. And there are people who are in a monogamous relationship who may want to go to a nude resort every once in a while and swap partners, and they're still happy too. So, and there, of course, there's still people who are just like, it's me and you for life, and they're incredibly fulfilled. So there's no one right way to love. It's the joy is in finding the person who agrees with what's right for you.
Amen.
Okay.
So you got to do the love language quiz and the commitment quiz. That's
Oh,
your
I
homework.
wish I had that
this
paper.
This was going to be fun. This is a homework time.
Language. I really did do it at Barnes & Noble's one time. It was just long. But all right. So please tell us about The Game of Desires.
Yes,
because this is your new book.
You saw that I brought it. Do you have a copy?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, we were supposed to get sent it.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh,
Okay, good.
yeah,
So
she ain't give it to me.
I'll
though.
gift
That's
it
why-
away.
Girl, I'm gonna be in charge of the email.
Well, I had it. Listen,
That's why I
I'm a
need to be
fan.
in charge of the email.
Okay. I come with gifts. It's one of my
I love it.
preferred love languages. Which you shouldn't have a love language you prefer to give others, but I like giving gifts. My book is the story of how.
Well. Now we know a little bit more about y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what happens on lasagna night.
Yes. It's been a while since lasagna night, Jay. Let's bring that back. The book is the story of how I worked with 6 women who were down on love, short end of the stick daters. I think we all have a friend like that who they're really great, but when it comes to the love department, it's constant crash and burn. And that's who I was seeking out for this book because I wanted to re-energize them. I wanted to make them masterful connectors. I wanted them to feel like they were in the driver's seat of their love lives. I wanted them to be flirtatious as hell and proud of their ability to get who they want and get the love life that they wanted. So the book is half self-help, but it's also just half a really crazy story.
Now, how do you, as, you know, you're a YouTuber, you sit there, you talk to people in person. Was it hard for you as a creative to put this into, I don't want to say segments, but different books, like sitting down and saying, you know what, this is the topic that I'm going to discuss with people, because right now the game of desire, like how's your creativity kind of separate that for you, putting them from YouTube videos and putting them into writing and creating this kind of structure for another person?
Yeah, what was kind of cool is I began as a writer. So my first book came out in 2009, which is 10 years ago, a decade ago, 85 staying alive, you know. But so my foray into my work as a sex educator began with a book. And so now that I've built up a bit more of a name for myself and I've built a bit more credentials in the field, my another book is coming out 10 years later. So it was actually like I felt deeply in my joy. And this is literally the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Why? What
Hands
were the
down.
feeling getting into it? Because obviously 10 years, that's a long time to step away from something, you know, and then to get back into it. Were you nervous? Were you scared? Was it like getting back into getting into a relationship?
Yes, it was like all of the above. I mean, relationships, I think, are a bit more fun because you 100% know what you put in is what you're going to get out. You know, you put in the effort, you work on yourself, and that should manifest in the relationship. With a book, there's so many like factors you cannot predict, right? Who's going to pick it up or who's going to talk about it or how many people are going to buy it, even if it is really amazing. So my fear was like so high because I knew I had so little control in this space, but I just kind of wanted to make a great product and let the rest be up to God or the Sagittarius rising moon or whoever's in control.
Whoever you're
up there.
believing, all right?
Whoever's in control. I just, you know, I wanted to make sure I did my part by doing great work, and the rest is the rest.
Now, it's so funny because, all right, being from Canada, coming over here to America.
Us being from Canada.
Us being from Canada. Fictionally, all right? In the next book she's writing. What's the difference? Because I look at it too, like I grew up with immigrant parents, so my idea of sex was very different because of that. When I would go over to certain friends' house, is there a difference, American versus Canadian, in how families or how people treat that? You know, I've never been to Europe or whatever, but people always tell me that, it's very open sexually. Is it kind of similar in Canada, or?
I had to burp, and I was hoping you would keep talking so that I could.
But you know what? This is why we do live shows, because
I was like, finish the sentence a little longer.
Let them really know who you are, girl.
It's very similar, actually. And we had, I don't know if you're familiar with the crack smoking mayor from Toronto.
Yes, actually.
So his brother.
Not like I don't know him, but like
right,
I heard
the story. So Rob Ford's brother is actually in power as like the premier, who would be like a governor of Ontario right now, and he rolled back sex education to like 1997. So it was updated to something more recent, and his whole platform was to bring it backwards because he's more conservative. So I think that Canada is going through a very similar struggle in terms of censorship. One of the things I learned in school for sexology that was really fascinating is that if you look at a country's porn, that will tell you a lot about their attitudes towards sex.
Tell me.
Well, because the further
America's
removed
a mess,
American porn is like out of this world. It's not relatable at all, right? It's massive boobs and the world's biggest dicks and crazy scenarios. You don't watch porn to see yourself or see someone who looks like you, because we have this shame around sexuality. We don't even want to envision ourselves. But they say in places like Thailand or in Sweden, the porn looks like someone you'd see at the grocery store. they're regular people doing regular stuff. And so, because people want to envision themselves in the act. And so our attitudes around sex are still very much like, okay, I might engage, but it's actually not me. It's this other separate part of me that I don't talk about. It's this fantasized, fictional side of me versus like, this is a real part of who I am, and I'm really proud of it.
That's so interesting too, because then I think about like Japan with like all these like video games that they have. There's like they had to do like a whole like raid on it, a lot of them, because they're video games of you being able to do all these crazy things and almost live these certain specific fantasies. And I see some of y'all nasty on the side of my all y'all nasty as I'm on Pornhub on the side with your little fantasy video games or whatnot too.
Okay. Yes.
That's fine. All right, last hot topic before we do this, because one of the funnier interviews that I saw with you was with Steve Harvey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because Steve Harvey
Uncle Steve,
he got them old school rules.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He grew up where apparently I grew up, but you know, he could not.
Oh, you guys came from the same town?
No, absolutely not. But like, meaning like, you know what I mean? Just like old school values. But he couldn't even wrap his head around the idea that you being in a relationship and like, you know, if I want to go see someone else, I'm gonna go see someone else. I'm gonna check with my partner and be like, yo, this is what I'm doing. He's gonna be cool with it, and that's where we are. He didn't have that understanding. Well, now that's what we saw, but like after the fact, was there a deeper conversation? Did he come to kind of an understanding?
I don't know. I mean, like, Steve is this, like, he's such a lovely character, and he's had me back on the show, and every single time I'm back on the show and he sees my wedding ring, he always makes a big deal out of it as if it's him who's responsible, and I always give it to him like, yes, Steve, it's because of you I'm married. Thank you so much for your advice. But I mean, he represents a very particular sector of the population who have certain values based on the times, and a lot of our values are determinant of being successful during that given time. Like our parents' ideals of what kind of job we should have is based on when they were in the job market, what jobs were being picked up, what successes they saw. So for him, he's trying to give me advice based on when he was a single guy, what determined a successful dater back then. And I respect it. And I think it can work for some people. And I think that honestly, sometimes people say to me, like, I don't agree with your values. I don't agree with your opinion.
And in that tone too, like,
I don't agree. And I'm like, I don't know, there's not to agree with, because I'm affirming whatever works for you. I am affirming love isn't one size fits all. I'm affirming that everyone deserves to be their own relationship expert, because this is an area that we all have stake in. We're all in this game together. And so I'm not disagreeing with anyone's opinion, because I'm like, if that works for you, it's right.
And I wonder if he gets that now, because I see this whole thing with Miss Lori Harvey and Diddy running around on the Insta story.
Yes.
Where
Lori's got a very, like, she's a very exciting young woman. Have you met her? No, I've seen her on the show a couple times when I was there, but she was dating Trey Songz as well too. So she's doing it. I like applaud you, Lori Harvey. I don't know, you know what I mean? Just
change
shout
our
out to you.
stepdaddy's views, you know what I mean?
Yes, shout out to you.
Live and prove. What's next for you? What do we have working on right now? I know you have your Perfect Date on YouTube.
Yes.
Which I love it. I love the integration of the cartoon and your storytelling. Where does that come for you creatively? Like, was the cartoon just like, I just don't want to be in it? Like,
no, the cartoon is literally the prologue of the book.
Okay.
Just read out loud. And so they're really, honestly, my book has been out for 6 days. So there is no next. There's this right now.
Yeah.
When you give birth to a baby, everyone's like, when are you gonna have the second one? I'm enjoying my new baby.
Yes.
Let me breastfeed.
See you in 10 years.
Let me nurture my baby. Let me spend some time, get to know my baby, like have it meet the world and watch how excited this book is when it meets new people. Like, that's what I really want to just do for a while, and then I'll have sex again without protection and make another baby. But for now, I'm not sure that's going to be, because this is exciting to me.
Amen. So first thing we're doing is we're going to the Game of Desire.
.com.
And we take on the quiz.
We're taking the free quiz, because if you need to be convinced with the free, come on, let's do it.
Well, we always like free.
Get the free.
And we like a quiz, because it's going to like prompt us to do something.
Yes, I love a quiz.
Then we're going to go and we're going to purchase this across all platforms, right?
Yes.
Because you also have it in audio.
Yes.
If you're like, I don't really read, it's like, download the audio.
Yes, get the audiobook.
There's really no excuse.
Right, it's just a beautiful podcast.
And it's time to listen.
It is time to listen, Jesse. It's time to listen.
Show them your book.
Okay, I'll show.
So we just,
right.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
The Game of Desire, Shan Boodram. Where can everyone follow you?
Shan Boody with a D, for my last name, not my anatomy.
Booty with
Yes.
a D. Shan, she right here with a booty with a D. Hey, Shan with a D. Shan with a D. She got that booty with a booty with a booty with a D. Hey.
Shan with a D is actually really nice. I like that.
Shan got the D.
Shan got the D.
Let it be lasagna night, and she got the.
Hey.
Jamie, I love you. Where can everyone follow you?
Yes. Okay, guys. So you can find me on Twitter. It's Jamie Gray, or on Instagram at Jamie Gray, Jaimi.
Boom. Again, Shan, thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
I love you.
I love you dearly.
Strong.
Thank you. You are wonderful.
Energy.
Your Sagittarius is rising. You are risen.
Okay, Jesus. Thank you. Everyone, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit us up across all streaming platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Hit us up at Instagram at AfterBuzz Tonite. Hit me up at DJ Jesse J. And remember, only you can prevent your dreams from coming true. Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or